First of all, did your team leave it a bit late to really get going there and get themselves back into the game?
I thought we didn't get going as we would like to get going in the first half, that's for sure. So in terms of leaving it to the second half, I suppose you could call it leaving it late. I think throughout the second half we were pretty much in control of the play, had a lot of possession and were passing the ball much better. But of course we went a goal down, and when you go a goal down against a team like Burnley, who played very well in the first half, it was always going to be a tough ask because we know how well they get behind the ball and how good they are at defending their penalty area. But I can't fault the effort of the players in attempting to get back and score that goal, because we certainly had opportunities and certainly had situations in and around their penalty which could so easily have led to a goal. But congratulations to them. They held out and protected the 1-0 lead.
On the goal that you did concede, could Guaita have done better to keep that out?
Well, lots of things could have happened. We could have done better at not giving the free kick away. We could have done better, certainly, at defending the ball that came in. And I'm sure that Vicente, who sets very high standards, will be a bit disappointed he didn't get the ball away. Really and truly, he had very little to do in the game. There were very few moments in the game where he was called into action. He was largely a spectator behind the back four, especially as the game went on, when we really dominated the last 20, 25 minutes or so. So I'm certainly not going to blame him for that. And what's more, he's been so good for us this season that even if I was to concede that perhaps a goalkeeper of his quality normally would save that, I'm certainly not going to blame him for it, because we owe him so many wonderful saves which have kept us in the game and won us points.
There was a VAR incident with IU. I don't know if you had a chance to have a look at it. What was your take on it?
Well, I think they had a good look at it, so I can only assume that they've looked at it and decided that it wasn't a deliberate attempt to elbow the player from Jordan Ayew's point of view. I have seen it. Obviously, he's got his arm across to protect the ball and to sort of move away, if you like, from the defender. I'm convinced he wasn't attempting in any way to elbow him, but it was one of those hairy situations, because you never know these days how they're going to be judged. But I'm pleased that the decision was made not to punish him there, because I'm convinced it was an attempt to turn and protect the ball rather than to injure the defender who was climbing over him.
Thanks, Roy. I'll let someone else jump in and get the next questions. Thank you.
Okay. Tom Barkley.
Hi, Roy. Away from the game tonight, a lockdown was imposed at Leicester due to an outbreak of coronavirus. You go to Leicester at the weekend. Obviously, this happened during the game, but it sounds like there might be a possibility of having to play that game at a neutral venue. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that possibility in that scenario.
Well, it's news to me, of course. I didn't know that, although I did hear on the news today that there was a potential problem in Leicester. But I'm perfectly happy to let the Premier League take care of that. I'm certain they'll tell us where and when the game should be played, and I'm certain if they can't play at Leicester, they'll find an alternative venue. And we're happy to go up and play against Leicester City wherever the Premier League tell us we should play.
Thank you, Roy.
Okay, Jack Rosser from the Standard.
Hi, Roy.
Jack.
How frustrating is it as a manager? Christian's obviously injured tonight, when you're getting a load of chances and can't quite put them away, that you've not got one more option to maybe throw on and see yourselves get a point or all three?
Well, we've been living with that situation for a long time, so there's nothing new there. We always realise that to have a chance, we need to keep our three forwards fit and then have Andros up our sleeve as a fourth forward. But we haven't been able to do that because in the first game, where I thought it worked very well with our forward line, we lost Christian Benteke and he wasn't fit for tonight's game. And as a result, Andros has come in on the right side, and Jordan is possibly playing in a position where he's slightly less effective than when he plays in the wider positions. But this is a fact of life. We can't odds that. Burnley themselves came here without a lot of their forward players. This is part and parcel of playing these games in this compromised period after the coronavirus, in an attempt to get the matches played, and every team could point to something disadvantageous which has affected them as a result of it.
And how close was Christian to being fit for tonight? And do you think you'll have him for Leicester?
Well, he wasn't close to being fit for tonight, so I'll get to the training ground tomorrow and check out how it's been going for him in the rehabilitation, and then I'll have a better idea. But at the moment, I don't have a clear idea whether he'll be fit or not.
Cheers, Roy.
Okay. George Sessions.
Hi Roy, was Cheku come off at half time? Was that an injury or was that just tactical?
No, it was tactical. I mean, don't forget Czech, played all the games up to now, the whole 90 minutes. We've got James McCarthy and also Max Meyer and Jado Riedewald, 3 senior players, all of whom are more than ready to play and more than capable of playing. So it was just a substitution I thought could help us in the second half, get on the ball a little bit better, because in the first half, the Burnley team, playing as well as they were playing around us, and I just thought it might help us get back in the game in a better way in the second half, and I think that was proved to be the point, because there was no doubt in the second half we had a lot of possession and we had the ball in and around their penalty area an awful lot more than we'd had in the first half.
It's right.
Okay, we're going to go last one to Andy McSteen.
Thanks, Joe. Hello, Roy. Wilf and Vicente both played 90 minutes tonight. How were they feeling after the 90? Obviously, they had some injuries before.
Yeah, fine, I think. I mean, there was no problem with Vicente's kicking, which was the thing that was going to bother us most of all, because it's a thigh strain, but he seemed to be kicking the ball perfectly and there was no complaints afterwards. And Wilf, I thought, came through the game excellently well. He got better and stronger as the game went on. Like the rest of us in the first half, he found it difficult. We weren't passing the ball well enough. We weren't pressurising the ball well enough. And as a result, we came at half-time, I think, pretty fortunate, or at least happy, to be 0-0. In the second half, I think we can consider ourselves to be a little bit unfortunate to lose the game 1-0, because we certainly did an awful lot better. And as a result of that, Wilf got more and more into the game, and it was he really who was causing a large number of the problems that we did cause to the Burnley defence. But the ball wouldn't go over the goal line for us today. It wouldn't fall for us as well as we would have liked, albeit that there were some shots on target and there were some near misses.
And obviously disappointed with the result, Roy, but what was it like being at Selhurst tonight without the fans? Was it sort of noticeable, or was it just like the other 2 games you've been playing?
I think it's always noticeable playing games without fans. It was noticeable in Bournemouth and at Liverpool that no fans are there, and of course playing here at home, you're hoping that the fan support will urge you on. But I must say, I don't think that the players could have done a lot more than they did in that second half, especially after conceding the goal, to push forward, to do everything they could to get an equaliser. I don't know that any amount of urging could have got much more from them than they actually gave. And I think the sad thing for all football teams at the moment is that we are playing these games behind closed doors, and we're pleased to be doing so, but we are disappointed for our fans, who I know would love to be here.
Thank you, Roy.
Okay.
Joe.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll leave it there.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks everyone.